Okay, so in this video we're going to be looking at the shape of parabolas, and I'm using something that is called the completed square form, and the formula is shown over here, okay, and it is all about this point here, the vertex. So if we look at my equation, the first number inside the bracket is the number of the x coordinate, and it's moved, and as I drag my x coordinate around, you can see how my graph is moving left and right. Important point to notice that as my number becomes negative, my graph moves to the right, and as my number becomes positive, my graph moves to the left. That's because whatever's inside the bracket has the opposite effect, so it goes across when to the left when it's positive and to the right when it's negative. With my vertical number, the number outside, that's how far up my graph has been shifted. And again, it does exactly what you'd expect. So therefore, it doesn't follow this opposite rule because it's not inside the bracket. So therefore, at -3, my graph has moved down 3, and at +3, my graph has moved up 3. Now we've done all of this, and you'll notice there's an extra number. So if I've got my coordinate as, my equation is x plus 2 all squared minus 2, that gives me the coordinate for my vertex of -2, -2, -2, because it's -2 at the end, so therefore my y is -2, and it's -2 inside the bracket because that's, I've moved across 2. Now I have to deal with this number in front. So currently it's showing up as a 1. If I change that to a 2, notice how my graph becomes slimmer. It's being stretched vertically. So therefore it's becoming slimmer and going up faster. Whereas if I move it to 3, it goes up quicker still. Our little rule that we have for our parabolas, which is you go across and you go up 1 when this number is 1. Look, I go across, I go up 1, I go across, I go up 3, I go across, I go up 5. And it's the same on the other side because my graph is symmetrical. Suddenly that rule doesn't work anymore when I start doing this vertical stretch. Now I go across 1 and I go up 2, across 1 and I go up 6, across 1 and I would go up 10. Okay, because all those numbers have been multiplied by 2 on the vertical shift. So now I go across 1 and go up 3. Across 1 I go up 9, and so on. The other thing we need to talk about is what happens if I change that to be a negative. Suddenly my graph goes from being a positive graph to being a negative graph. It's now a negative parabola. So it's a sad face. And look, go across 1, down 1, across 1, down 3, across 1, down 5. My vertex is still dictated to by the 2 numbers elsewhere in my equation, and it's only this stretch factor, this transformation that's being done that's stretching my graph and making it slimmer, is what's going on. Now I just need to edit that setting a second because I've currently got it going down on an increment of a whole number, and actually that's not what I really want here. So let's take that increment out, because now as I change that slider, what happens as this number gets smaller than 1? Well, suddenly my graph is becoming squashed. It's becoming wider. So I can change how wide my parabola is by changing this scale factor that's in front and making my graph wider. Okay, so that's our first video on completing the square form. I'm going to leave the link also to the GeoGebra on the Google or on YouTube and on the site so that you can have a play and have a look at that graph your own. Okay, so until next time, good luck.